publication. She is also the editor of Journal 1. And as a guest, Dr. Sarabjit Kaur 50 conferences, seminars, workshops as a resource person. If I'm talking about research guidance, four research scholars at PhD level awarded and one is registered, 13 research scholars at MPhil, 35 research scholars at MMed level. Apart from this, she attended conferences around 80 international and national as well. Her areas of specialization is methodology of research, educational technology, guidance and counseling, educational intelligence and spiritual intelligence, motivational speaker, and as an innovator, mentoring model for teacher training, assessment techniques, 4E approach to lesson planning, internship schedules. Her listed awards such as Award for Eminent Educationist by the Indus Foundation USA and India 2016, Best Female Psychologist Award 2017 by Agra Psychological Association, Best Leadership Award 2022 by Punjab Community Health Service Canada, Outstanding Leader 2023 by Principals Association of Colleges of Education India. So today we are incredibly fortunate to have here today to guide us through what promises to be a transformative learning experiences. We have the golden opportunity to learn from her as she takes us on a journey through how to write a good research paper. So without further ado, please join me in giving a round of applause to Dr. Sarabjit Kaur ma'am. Thank you so much. Over to you, Anushri ma'am.
Thank you, sir, for your impeccable intro and information about our guest. Ladies and gentlemen, we are fortunate to have with us today some speakers who are noted figures in education field. Each are each one of them brings their expertise and beliefs that will indeed make our exploration of the topic, how to write a good scientific research paper. Without further ado, it's our pleasure to invite Dr. Sarabjit Kaur Ma'am, Principal of Guru Ramdas B.Ed College, Jalalabad, Punjab, to share her valuable insights on how to write a good scientific research paper. Dr. Sarabjit Kaur Ma'am has expertise in education and research, will undoubtedly enlighten us on the nuances of crafting exceptional scientific papers. Let's welcome Dr. Sarabjit Kaur ma'am as she graciously shares her knowledge and experiences with us on the path to effective scientific writing.
Please wait. She is joining just now. आज डिस्टर्बेंस हो ही गई है। मैम से अभी फोन से बात हुई है, वो अभी ज्वाइन कर रही है। हाँ, इन सबको बोल दो। पार्टिसिपेंट से रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप थोड़ी देर के लिए 2-4 लोग आप क्विट हो जाएं, जिससे कि मैम जुड़ जाएं। 100 पीपल इसमें जुड़े हुए हैं, मैम जुड़ नहीं पा रही हैं। 2-4 पार्टिसिपेंट्स प्लीज क्विट हो जाएं अपने इस नंबर से। थोड़ी देर के बाद में आप जुड़ जाएंगे, आप अपने आप आ पाएंगे। मैम आप जुड़ जाइए। थैंक यू।
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
गुड आफ्टरनून मैम, गुड आफ्टरनून। सॉरी मैम, आज तो डिस्टरबेंस हो ही गई सुबह से, मतलब शुरू से ही।
कुछ नेटवर्क इशू था शायद आपकी साइड पे, तो am I audible?
हाँ, यस मैम।
Yes, ma'am. Shall we start, sir?
यस मैम, दिस इज योर टर्न।
Kindly share your
वेलकम,
PPT.
प्लीज स्टार्ट।
Sir, share PPT, please. You are mute, sir. You are mute.
मैम प्लीज स्टार्ट, मैं अभी अभी तुरंत शेयर करता हूँ।
हाँ जी. Good afternoon, everyone. So, after some technical hitches, we are again on the platform to discuss how to write a scientific research paper. So we will deliberate on the length and breadth of this topic. But before starting the topic, I must let you know that there are various kinds of journals. First, you select the journal for which you want to write a paper. Because many kinds of journals are available. There are Scopus index journals, there are peer review journals, there are UGC Care list journals, and there are open access journals. But while writing paper for any kind of journal will depend upon the research which you have conducted. Because what is a scientific paper? Scientific paper is a written and published report describing the original research results. And it must contain your first publication only, because there should not be any kind of plagiarism. It should not be a copy paste. One must be very clear that it should be your first publication, and it should be in the form where your peers, your colleagues, or anyone from outside can repeat the experiment and test the conclusions and the results which you have reported in your research. So, as a scientific paper, your document should be available to all the community for which you are writing this scientific research paper. So, writing a good research paper involves many steps, and we will discuss all the steps one by one. And a few key steps that ensure the quality of a research paper include: number one is understand your audience. You must know for whom you are writing the paper, whether they are from any kind of professional community, whether they are from any kind of students community for which you are writing paper. So you must target your audience, and accordingly, you need to tailor your writing to the journal audience and guidelines, because each journal provides you guidelines how to write the paper for that specific journal. So you need to be very clear in your mind that who is your target audience. For example, I am here to present a paper on how to write a scientific research paper, and I know that we are having research scholars and MS students in this target group, and I'll arrange my language accordingly up to the level of the students only. So whenever you are writing a research paper, you must know your audience, and you must prepare your writing accordingly as per the needs and expectations of your audience. Then you must avoid jargon and technical terms while it is totally necessary, because a few professions like law profession, medicine, and computer, they have some specific terms. Unless and until a few terms are required, you need not to use any kind of special terminology, any kind of difficult terminology which goes above the head of the audience. So your language must be very simple. Your language should be in such a way that it could be understood by your audience. Then the next step is, the first one was understand your audience, and the next step is choose a strong title. So whenever you're planning to write a paper, you need to conduct a research. So your title should be very concise, but it should be descriptive. It should reflect your main contributions, and it should contain your main findings. Those are called variables also. So you must be very clear with that thing also. Then comes the writing part. How to present your paper? It should be presented in a form of abstract. So a clear abstract should be written before submitting any research paper to any journal. But I must say that an abstract must be written only after completing the research paper, because now all the steps are there and you can conclude very easily, covering all the aspects of your title, all the aspects of your research. So while writing your abstract for the paper, you need to summarize your objectives, you need to summarize your methods, you need to summarize your results and conclusions in 150 to 200 words only, because each journal has some kind of word limit. So your abstract should be concise but impressive also, covering all the aspects. Then it should be concise, but it should be informative. It should, because readers will decide according to your abstract whether they need to read your paper or not. So your abstract is just like a mirror for your research which you are reflecting. Then structure your paper very properly. Then what is the structure? Structuring the paper means that it should be in IMRAD format. That is introduction, methodology, results, and discussion format. You should elaborate your paper in a proper way so that everyone may go through your paper, and it should be very logical, it should be very scientific, because whenever we are talking about the scientific, then it means the flow should be very logical. Each sentence should start the new sentence, so there should be a collaboration in all the sentences and all the variables. So introduction must lead to the methods, methods must lead to the results, results must lead to the discussions. So then the next is use figures and tables effectively. Ensure that tables and figures are very clear, well labeled, and complemented with the text, because when you provide any kind of figure, text must be there to explain that figure, table, or whatever it has been given in your paper. Then make it self-explanatory. There should not be any kind of misunderstanding or any kind of communication gap, what you had said and what had been communicated. So each and everything must be self-explanatory so that readers may understand without any kind of reference back to the text. Then the next step is, we will elaborate all the points, but I'm just summarizing. Okay, what are the steps in writing a scientific paper? So the next step is cite literature appropriately. When you review the related literature, then you need to cite it properly to support the background of your paper and discussion of your paper. Then follow a specific citation style as per the requirement of the journal. It may be APA, as we generally do in MAd and PhDs. That is American Psychological Association citation. Then comes MLA, that is Modern Language Association, which is commonly used in humanity, where we write the name and page number of the author. And it may be some Chicago Press citation also, because University of Chicago Press has its own style since 1906 for writers, editors, and publishers. So citation should be very clear in your paper. Then comes maintain clarity and precision. So your paper should be in a very straightforward language, and it should avoid ambiguity. There should be no double-barreled words used in your paper. Your language should be very simple and straightforward. Then you need to break down the complex sentences into simple sentences to maintain the clarity. Then the next step is edit and revise thoroughly. Once your paper has been written, you need to ensure that each section of your paper has a logical flow. You must have proofreading for grammar, punctuation, and spelling errors. Then you must seek feedback from your colleagues or your mentors before submitting the paper to any journal. Then the ninth step is follow journal guidelines. As I suggested you in the first sentence only, keep in mind for which journal you are writing the papers. For example, it is for Scopus Index journals. It is international. Then they have their own guidelines. You need to strictly adhere to those formatting, length, style of guidelines to target the journal, because otherwise your paper will not be accepted and it will not be published if you don't follow the guidelines of a given journal. Then last part is conclusion. Last part is conclusion, and here you need to summarize your findings and suggest some future research directions so that anyone from your peers or anyone from the audience who want to retest your results may reconduct the research in that particular area and may verify the results. So your own experiences along with the findings and future directions must be there in your last segment of your paper. So this was a brief about how to write a scientific research paper. Now we will discuss all the steps in detail. So the first step is title. Now what is a title? A good title is defined as the fewest possible words that adequately describe the content of the paper. The title is extremely important and must be chosen with great care, as it will be read by thousands, whereas few will read the entire paper. Because title may be accessed by lakhs also. But if it is impactful, it is effective, it is fascinating, it is very real, and it is very practical, then everyone would be interested to read your paper. So your title should be very much precise, concise, but relevant. Then indexing and abstracting of the paper depends on the accuracy of the title. Because if title is improper, then paper will get lost and will never be read. So while choosing your title, then you have to be very careful. Then the next thing which should be kept in mind is that titles should neither be too short nor too long as to be meaningless. So it should be appropriate only. Then sometimes we use waste words like studies conducted on, investigations conducted on, and etc. So these must not be used in a scientific research paper. Your language should be very, very relevant only. And when we talk about the syntax of the paper, that is a structure of the paper, then your sentence structure should be very much valid, and your sentence structure should be in a proper sequence. So go to the first slide, that will title. Skip all these slides, please. Go to title, sir. So, title should contain the keywords that reflect the content of the paper. And your title should be very meaningful. It should not be journal. And title should be concise, specific, and informative. And it should capture the fundamental nature of the experiments and findings which you are reporting in your paper. So this is the care that has to be taken while writing a scientific research paper when you are going to select your title. Now comes abstract. As I told you earlier, that abstract is summary of the information in a document. So it is, so please skip to the next slide having term the abstract. Next. Yes.
Okay.
Last one, sir. The abstract. इससे पीछे जाइए abstract पे. Yes, this one.
Okay.
Next, sir, इससे next है. Yes, this one. So we discussed that abstract is the summary of the information in a document. So it is of fundamental importance, and abstract should be written very clearly. It should be in a very simple language so that anyone who is going through your abstract may be able to understand the whole part of your manuscript, the whole part of your research paper. That is, जैसे हम बोलते हैं कि गागर में सागर भरना. That is the abstract part of your research paper. So your research paper should cover all the aspects because it should be a very crispy document so that it may attract the audience to go through your paper, because the kind of citations that you will have due to these research papers will enhance your value. So next is your abstract must provide summary of introduction, methods, results, and discussions in your paper. Then you must need to state the principal objective and scope of the investigation that was in your hand. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
We have received a call. Might be there some disconnection during the last presentation. So you must need to state the principal objective of your study, why you have taken this investigation and what was the objective. Then describe the methods, then summarize the results, and then wrote down the conclusions and the results in your abstracts, because abstract will be a complete paper in itself, because it will reflect the picture of your whole paper. Now, how an abstract should be written? What is the criteria to write an abstract? And as I suggested you earlier, that abstract must be written after completing the paper only. Then you get the actual idea what is to be written and how it has to be written over there, so that everyone may get a complete picture. So the criteria of abstract varies from journal to journal. and its length should not exceed 250 words, because maximum length of abstract in any journal is maximum 250 words, and it should be written in one paragraph only, and it should be written in past tense only, because you had already conducted the research and now you're reporting that to your audience. And abbreviations wherever necessary should be followed by the long words that has been used. Long words means the variables that have been used. For example, I am writing emotional intelligence, I am writing spiritual intelligence, I am writing life lessons. Instead of writing the whole term, I should write EI as abbreviation, SI as abbreviation, LL as abbreviation. So it should be there in your abstract. And you need not to mention any kind of references in your abstract where it is not necessary. If it is very particular, then you need to mention over there, and it is in rare cases only. Otherwise, you need not to have any kind of citation of references in your abstract. Then anything should not be included in the abstract which is not written in your paper. Whatever is written in your paper, only that thing should be included in the abstract. And you need to be very accurate with respect to the figures that you have mentioned in your research paper. So this is the criteria of writing an abstract for a scientific research paper. Now comes how to give the introduction. How lengthy it should be, what should be included in the introduction, because it's a normal question by the research scholars. Even the teachers ask that how much length should be there in a research paper. You need to introduce your topic. You need to explain it well. You need to give the importance of your title. You need to give the background of the paper. So please change the slide. So introduction should be in such a way as per the requirement of the journal that it is sufficient to explain the title of your research, and it should explain why it is important, how it is important, why you have chosen this area.
Slides change. Ma'am, slide change. Slide. Same slide. Criteria of the abstract चल रही है.
या वो शिवपाल सर ने करनी है, उनके पास है स्लाइड.
Ma'am, slide.
Please wait. Shivpal sir is coming back. I think he's not on seat.
Okay.
So then you need to include everything in your introduction, that is providing the background of your study, why you have taken this study, why it is important for you, and why it is important for your audience also. Then clearly state the research questions and the hypothesis. Language of your research questions and hypothesis should be very much clear and simple also. Shivpal sir, kindly change the slide, please. Introduction. So this was the part of introduction. What is to be written in your research paper? Number one is what kind of variables you have taken. You need to give the definitions. You need to give the importance. You need to give the historical background also. Then you need to write the research questions and hypothesis. It should cover the introduction part of your research paper. Then comes methods. Now, which methods has been used by you? If it was experimental method, then write down which kind of experimental method you have taken, whether it's purely experimental, it is quasi-experimental, then which design has been used, or you have used some analytical method. So which method has been used in your study that you need to mention in your research paper. Then you must provide sufficient information for replication. If somebody wants to repeat your research and wants to verify your results, then you should provide that this method has been used, and in future studies, this method could be replicated and this method could be combined with this method, then it should be also part of your method.
मैम
Then
स्लाइड नहीं बढ़ रही है मैम ना
actually,
दिख रही
Shipal sir, are you there? I think it has crossed 100 now. Maybe he has left. I'll provide you the PPT later on, please. Would it be workable?
जी मैम
Okay. Then comes the next part of your research paper, that is the result part. Now, this is the most important part of your paper, that is your results. Now, you need to present your results in a very logical, concise, and concise way. Here, you need to put the tables and the figures wherever they are necessary. And you need not to provide any kind of interpretation in just need to write the results only as per the objectives and the hypothesis given in your research paper. So you just need to write what are your results. For example, there is a significant relationship between emotional intelligence and life lessons. I need not to elaborate it. I need not to go for its interpretation because interpretation will be done in the discussion part. In results, you just need to write down 1, 2, 3, whatever your results having in your hand after conducting a research in that particular area. Then the last part is discussion. In discussion, you need to interpret your results. Now you need to compare your results with the earlier studies. Now you need to compare your results with the existing studies, with the existing research. And now here you need to discuss the significance of the results, why they are significant. If it is not significant, why it is so. Now in the discussion part, you need to adhere to all these things so that one may have a crispy picture of your research in your hand, so that if wants to verify or wants to replicate, he or she may do the same. Then if you had any limitations of your study, then you need to mention in your discussion part that it may be due to limited time, it may be due to limited energy, it may be due to limited money, it could be any. If there was any limitation, then you could write due to paucity of time, I couldn't do that, I couldn't that. So that may be included in your discussion part also. So this was the structure of a scientific research paper. Now here are some bonus tips. Then what should be taken care while writing a scientific research paper? Stay objective. Whenever you are writing a research paper, then you need to present your research in objectivity, focusing on the data and analysis rather than opinions. Don't give your opinions. Whatever is in your hand, interpret it very simply, very specifically, and don't try to be biased in any kind of relationships or any kind of differences. Don't try to interfere with the results. Whatever you have studied, just report the facts only. Then reference key papers. Show some kind of familiarity with foundational studies and current debates. If you are having this kind of edge, then your research paper could be exemplary. Then you need to take care of ethics and integrity. Follow the ethical guidelines for research and publication. Avoid any kind of plagiarism or any kind of conflict of interest. Conflict of interest may be researchers' personal, professional interest, and it may be financial interest also, but it must not affect your reporting of the research. Then by focusing all these elements, you can enhance the quality of your scientific research paper and increase its chances of acceptance and publication in a good research journal. So this is all about how to write a scientific research paper. But I still request you all that if you select the journal where you want to send your paper. For example, you need to send your paper to a Scopus Index journal. Many of you must have heard the term Scopus Index journals. Then the process is quite hectic. They accept the papers, and it takes a few months to get the analysis of the paper by the reviewing team, and then they accept it or reject it. That is upon the editors and the reviewing team only. So before sending or submitting a research paper to any journal, you need to know what is the criteria and what are the guidelines. Adhere to the guidelines in a very strict way. Only then you can get your paper published in a good journal. So this is all from my side. If anyone have any question, the platform is open for discussion. Thank you. Over to Dr. Shivpal Singh ji.
Thank you so much.
Heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Sarabjit Kaur ma'am. Your presence and expertise have enriched our conference. That is truly inspiring. Now, I would like to invite Professor Dr. S.P. Singh sir to honor Dr. Sarabjit Kaur ma'am with an appreciation certificate that will be a virtual certificate for her outstanding contribution to our conference on how to write a good scientific research paper.
Ma'am, this is for you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
आज का सेशन बहुत अच्छा था, टॉपिक बहुत ही बेस्ट था। बहुत ही अच्छा होने के बाद भी मेरी तरफ से नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम ने डिस्टर्ब कर दिया, उसके लिए मैं सभी से माफी चाहूंगा, क्योंकि ये नेटवर्क एक ऐसी चीज है जिससे हम लोग जुड़े हुए हैं। हमारी पूरी यूनिवर्सिटी का मतलब पीछे से ही मेन लाइन से ही नेट डिफॉल्ट हो गया था, जिसकी वजह से दिक्कत आ गई थी, पर अब ठीक है। थैंक यू वेरी मच मैम। और अब मैं अपने सभी पार्टिसिपेंट से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि मैम ने जिस तरीके से अपना बेस्ट प्रेजेंटेशन दिया है, उससे रिलेटेड अच्छे रिसर्च पेपर को कैसे लिखा जाए, इससे संबंधित आप अपने क्वेश्चंस मैम से पूछ सकते हैं। मैम ने अपना प्लेटफॉर्म ऑन कर किया हुआ है, और आपके क्वेश्चंस जब आएंगे तो मैम उनके बहुत अच्छे से जवाब देने वाले हैं। हम सभी लोग अच्छे रिसर्च पेपर लिखने की कोशिश करते हैं। हम जानते हैं कि हम अब तक बहुत सारे रिसर्च पेपर लिख चुके हैं, लेकिन उसके बाद भी कहीं ऐसा लगता है कि हमारा इतना अच्छा रिसर्च पेपर होना चाहिए जिससे कि सीधा यूजीसी के लिस्टेड जर्नल में या स्कोपस में छप सके, या इंटरनेशनल लेवल पर जो बहुत सारे हमारे जर्नल होते हैं उसमें छापा जा सके। और ये सब डिपेंड करता है हमारे क्वालिटी पेपर। हमारा क्वालिटी पेपर अगर सही है तो ही हमारे रिसर्च पेपर को अच्छे जर्नल में छापा जा सकता है। तो हम कैसे इसकी तैयारी करें, किस तरीके से हम इसको लिखें जैसे कि हमारा पेपर बिना किसी परेशानी के अच्छे जर्नल में, इंटरनेशनल जर्नल में, यूजीसी के लिस्टेड जर्नल में या स्कोपस जर्नल में छापा जा सके। तो कृपया आपके इससे संबंधित कोई भी प्रश्न हैं, मैम आपके साथ में अवेलेबल हैं, आप अपने प्रश्न लिख सकते हैं। क्योंकि हम सभी की इच्छा होती है कि अच्छा पेपर अगर हमारा लिखा जा सकता है तो वो हमारे क्रेडिट में आता है, उसके मार्क्स अलग से होते हैं। हम ये भी जानते हैं कि कुछ पेपर ऐसे होते हैं, कुछ जर्नल ऐसे होते हैं जिसमें छपने से किसी को 5 पॉइंट, किसी को 10 पॉइंट, किसी को 15 पॉइंट, किसी को 20 पॉइंट, 25, 30 पॉइंट तक हमें अच्छे रिसर्च पेपर के मिलते हैं। तो इसको कैसे हम लिखें जिसकी वजह से हमारा अच्छे जर्नल में पेपर छप सके, उस पर हमने आपको बहुत डिस्क्राइब करके बताया भी है, पर थोड़ी बहुत डिस्टरबेंस हमारी तरफ से भी रही है। बीच बीच में नेट आ रहा था, जा रहा था, उस वजह से भी डिस्टरबेंस हुई है। लेकिन अभी ओपन हाउस है, जिसमें आपकी कोई भी दिक्कत है, कोई भी परेशानी है, कोई भी डाउट्स है, आप पूछ सकते हैं प्लीज।
हेलो मैम, नमस्कार।
हाँ जी मैम।
नमस्कार मैम, मैं डॉक्टर मंजुला। मैम, मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है कि अभी जो यूजीसी केयर लिस्ट या तो स्कोपस में प्रकाशित करने के लिए सब जगह उसका कुछ न कुछ चार्ज रहता है। कहीं कहीं तो इतना चार्ज लगा हुआ है, 20,000 से लेके 25-30,000 तक लोग बोल रहे हैं। तो क्या फ्री कौन कौन सा मिल सकता है आपके पास, यदि कोई लिस्ट है कि जो फ्री ऑफ उसका सही रूप से किसमें हमें प्रकाशित करना चाहिए?
Actually, ma'am, if you go through the website on Google, na, you will find many open access journals. And you will find many international journals, but for publishing free of cost, your paper should be of very high quality. They accept your paper only if it is as per their own standards. If it does not match to the standards given by a particular journal, then they don't accept and don't publish. So first you go through the Google. There are many journals which are being published free of cost. So good quality journals are available. I won't recommend any kind of journal here, but we will later on discuss that these many are available and you may send your papers. Then there are rigorous scrutiny of that paper. If that matches to that international of cost also. And one more thing I must add here that I have come to know from very reliable sources that our UGC is allowing all the journals which are being published even by our colleges also, that their papers will be equally treated as compared to international journals, Scopus Index journals, as well as UGC Care journals. So we will have many opportunities in upcoming future, and you may start your own university journal so that you may get it published free of cost, and you may provide a very qualitative research papers in India.
Okay, thanks.
Hanji, the next question was written by somebody that what is ISBN and peer-reviewed journal? So ISBN is a publication number that is issued by Bureau of Publication, Government of India. So peer-reviewed is a journal where you have a group of people who will scrutinize your paper, and after getting their feedback, after getting their rectification that is required in a paper, your paper will be published. And if you go through the UGC guidelines for selection of various cadres of assistant, associate, and professor, then you will find that various kinds of journals are having various kinds of numbers that is allotted to that particular journal. If it is an impact factor, then you will get a different marks. If it is just a care listed, then you will get different marks. So you need to go through all the lists available on the UGC website that which matches to your requirement. Accordingly, you must send your paper in that particular journal only. And the one question is, madam, Hindi medium में भी journals होते हैं? I don't think कि Scopus में कोई हिंदी मीडियम में journals होते हैं, because they are international journals, and हिंदी में जो journals होंगे वो multidisciplinary जो भी journals होते हैं इंडिया के, उसमें you can publish your paper in Hindi also. So you just look after the multidisciplinary journal. These are available in India, and you may publish your paper in that journal. Madam, title बड़ा होना चाहिए या small? Please inform. देखिए, title जो है that should be very appropriate. It should not be very small, and it should not be very lengthy. It should be meaningful. So whatever you want to communicate, that should be in a very crisp way. Whatever you want to communicate. Whenever you see many ads on your television, and some ads are very lucrative because the terminology, because the videography and the figures shown in that are very impressive. So similarly, it should be your title. It should be very impressive. It should be very lucrative and should be very attractive so that your audience may be targeted and your citation may be there in future researches also, so that you may gain something from your research paper which you have published in any journal. So these were the questions that has been posted in chat box. Anyone else, please?
मैम उसके नीचे भी एक क्वेश्चन है, what mistakes to be avoided before sending our paper to the Scopus Index Journal?
मैं आपको ये सजेस्ट करूंगी कि पहले गूगल कीजिए कि आपके सब्जेक्ट में कौन कौन से जर्नल्स अवेलेबल हैं. गो थ्रू द गाइडलाइंस, राइट योर पेपर अकॉर्डिंगली, मैनेज योर पेपर अकॉर्डिंगली, send your abstract when it is accepted, then you may go through.
Ma'am, next question, what is peer reviewed journal?
Already answered कि there is a group of people who scrutinize your paper before getting it published in a journal.
नेक्स्ट किसी ने लिखा है, मैम क्या हिस्ट्री में भी स्कोपस जर्नल निकाले हैं? प्लीज टेल सम नेम्स ऑफ फ्री जर्नल्स.
आप गूगल कीजिए, आपको बहुत सारे मिल जाएंगे, बहुत सारे मिल जाएंगे, बट दे आर ऑफ हाई लेवल एंड यू नीड टू वर्क हार्ड अकॉर्डिंगली. कंफर्ट जोन में बैठ के नथिंग इज फ्री. मैम अपने रिसर्च टॉपिक से रिलेटेड किसे अपना रिसर्च पेपर का टॉपिक चूज करें, प्लीज सजेस्ट. जो भी आप जो भी रिसर्च कर रहे हैं, यू मे राइट रिसर्च पेपर ऑन दैट पर्टिकुलर एरिया ऑल्सो एंड दैट वुड बी वेरी रेलिवेंट. लेकिन उसमें आपको ध्यान ये रखना है कि जो आप रिसर्च कर रहे हैं दैट should be free from any bias, that should be journalized, that should not be focused on a specific group, because research is only valid when it is journalized. So focus on the research that is in your hand and you may get it published in the shape of a research paper. And the last query was how to increase citation. Do some relevant research in the field, and if it is required in the field, citation will be automatically updated. So I think it's all done, sir.
अगर और किसी का कोई क्वेश्चन बनता है प्लीज आप पूछें, चैट बॉक्स में भी ले सकते हैं और मैम से डायरेक्ट भी पूछ सकते हैं. मैम एक क्वेश्चन और यहाँ पर था किसी का कि इसमें एक मिनट था, हाँ इसमें मैम थोड़ा रिसर्च रिव्यू पेपर रिलेटेड भी बता दो.
हाँ, रिसर्च रिव्यू जो है that should be the recent. It should not exceed more than 10 years. Because if you take review from last 10 years, then it is more than sufficient. But studies should be the relevant to your study in your hand. Because if you look beyond 10 years, then things are quite not relevant in present review. Because technology is changing, life is changing at very fast pace. So the things that are being quoted in recent researches of 70s, 80s, 90s, I think their worth is not that enough that they need to be quoted now, because now the scenario is totally changed. Physical infrastructure is changed. Emotional levels are changed, and our expectation levels are changed. Society is changed. When everything is changed, then you need to quote the relevant latest literature only. Anyone else?
नमस्कार मैम।
नमस्कार जी।
जी मैम, पूछिए।
मैम जो मैंने क्वेश्चन डाला था जी कि हमें कुछ रिसर्चर व्यू के बारे रिसर्चर व्यू पेपर के बारे में बता दीजिए मैम, बट थोड़ा हिंदी या पंजाबी में एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए।
हाँ जी, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰਿਵਿਊ ਲੈਣਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਬੱਚੇ, ਉਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਿਛਲੇ 10 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦਾ ਲੈਣਾ ਹੈ, 10 ਸਾਲ ਤੋਂ ਪੁਰਾਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੈਣਾ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ 10 साल ਤੋਂ ਪੁਰਾਣਾ ਲਓਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਦੀ रेलेवेंस खत्म हो जाएगी। तो
ठीक है
ये
जी।
फोकस के अगर आप 10 साल के बीच में ही रहें तो 10 साल में बहुत सारा सिनेरियो चेंज हो जाता है, और उस सिनेरियो के अकॉर्डिंगली एक्सपेक्टेशंस जो हैं वो सोसाइटी की भी चेंज हो रही है, इंस्टीट्यूशंस की भी चेंज हो रही हैं। सो उसके मुताबिक ही आपने जो है वो देखो, रिसर्च में जो रिव्यू हम लेते हैं दैट इज टू फाइंड अ डायरेक्शन। जो ऑलरेडी हो चुका है उसमें एडिशन क्या करना है, व्हाट इज अ गैप बिटवीन प्रेजेंट एंड द पास्ट, तो वो आपको रिव्यू बताएगा जो पिछले 10 साल का है। तो जो हो चुका है, डोंट ट्राई टू रेप्लिकेट दैट, try to create something new, try to add something new. So to get a new direction from the past, you do the review. इसलिए आप जब रिव्यू करें उसको बहुत सिंसियरली करें कि किसने क्या स्टडी किया है, और उसको स्टडी करने के बाद उसके क्या रिजल्ट्स आए हैं, क्या वो रिजल्ट्स जर्नलाइज हैं या इनको जर्नलाइज करने की जरूरत है, तो उसके लिए हमें क्या करना चाहिए, कौन सी टेक्निक्स यूज करनी चाहिए, कैसा हमारा सैंपल होना चाहिए। तो एवरीथिंग डिपेंड्स अपॉन योर रिव्यू, क्योंकि आपका जो रिसर्च क्वेश्चन बन रहा है दैट इज कॉल्ड हाइपोथेसिस, दैट इज बेस्ड ऑन रिव्यू ऑफ रिलेटेड लिटरेचर। सो दो चीजें बहुत जरूरी होती हैं रिसर्च में, द वन इज थ्योरी अवेलेबल एंड द सेकंड इज रिव्यू अवेलेबल। इसलिए इसको बहुत ही ध्यान से आपने करना होता है। इसलिए मेरी जो सजेशन है दैट इज कि आप 10 साल से पुराना रिव्यू अपनी रिसर्च में ना ऐड करें। जो 10 साल का है उसको अच्छे से एक्सप्लोर करें, उसमें जितनी मैक्सिमम हो सकती हैं वो आपको करने की कोशिश करनी चाहिए।
अच्छा, ठीक है मैम, थैंक
इसके
यू सो
अलावा
मच मैम।
और भी किसी का कोई क्वेश्चन है, प्लीज अपना।
मैम एक क्वेश्चन और है मेरा। मैम जैसे मेरा टॉपिक है ना, एन एनालिसिस ऑफ सेल्फ एस्टीम, इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस एंड एकेडमिक इंटरेस्ट एज अ प्रिडिक्टर ऑफ कंफर्मिटी बिहेवियर अमंग सेकेंडरी स्कूल स्टूडेंट्स। मैम अगर इसमें से मैंने अपना कोई पेपर लिखना है तो मैम सेल्फ एस्टीम रिलेटेड कंफर्मिटी बिहेवियर वेरिएबल लूंगी मैं।
देखो बेटे, वेरिएबल्स तो आपने 4 ऑलरेडी मेंशन कर दिए हैं।
जैसे मैम मैंने अपने इसमें से कोई एक उसके ऊपर पेपर करना हो तो।
नहीं, जो आप स्टडी करेंगे पेपर उसमें से ही निकलेगा। यू कैन प्रोड्यूस
जी
2
मैम।
पेपर्स आउट ऑफ दिस 4 वेरिएबल्स ना। सो
जी मैम।
इसमें जो आप कोरिलेशन देना चाहेंगे, 2 की देना चाहेंगे, दैट इज योर चॉइस। लेकिन इट डिपेंड्स कि उसमें रिजल्ट्स क्या आते हैं, और रिजल्ट्स के अकॉर्डिंगली, बिकॉज इट शुड बी लॉजिकल। उसमें दैट इज नॉट योर पर्सनल चॉइस, क्योंकि जो हम ऑलरेडी ऊपर बात कर चुके हैं कि जिसमें हमने आपको बताया था कि आपका जो ये पर्सनल ओपिनियन है, स्टे ऑब्जेक्टिव, क्योंकि रिसर्च, साइंटिफिक रिसर्च पेपर लिखना इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग, योर ओपिनियन इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग। सो आपका जो फाइंडिंग्स हैं दे शुड बी published in the first form only. So that is why you are writing your research paper. So this is not your opinion कि आप इसको इसके साथ लिखें, इसको इसके साथ लिखें. This doesn't matter. What matters is your study. So study जो है उसको अगर आप इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे लेके जाते हैं, everyone comes to know कि what you have studied and what are the benefits and how that can be implicated in the present setting. So that would be beneficial for you and as well as your audience also, because you will get maximum citations out of your published paper. So that is not your personal opinion, or that is not your personal choice कि what you need to write down and what you need not to write down. This is what you have conducted and what you need to report.
थैंक यू सो मच।
किसी और का कोई क्वेश्चन बचा हो? मैम कई हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स पूछते रहते हैं कि रिसर्च पेपर जब हम लिखें, हालांकि आपने अपने टॉक में सारी चीज बता दी है, लेकिन उसके बाद भी अगर ब्रीफ में एक स्ट्रक्चर पूरा आउटलाइन बता दिया जाए कि पहले ये किया करना है, फिर ये करना है, फिर ये करना है, फिर ये करना है, तो जो नए स्कॉलर्स हैं रिसर्च के, उनको और अच्छा आइडिया मिल जाएगा। तो प्लीज मैम इसको बताने का।
देखिए, सबसे जो असेंशियल पार्ट्स होते हैं एक साइंटिफिक रिसर्च पेपर के, दैट इज योर टाइटल. It should be very clear and concise. Then it is your abstract. It again should be very simple but comprehensive. It should contain each and everything of your research. Then introduction part of your research paper should be very influential. Then what kind of methods you have used, what kind of materials you have used to collect the data in your study, they need a mention in your research paper. Then your results should be very clearly written in your research paper. Then comes discussion, interpretation and findings of your results should be very clear in your paper. Then summary of the paper should be there. Summarize the findings in one paragraph so that one may go through the gist of your paper in just a minute or a two. Then, if any kind of help you had taken from other researchers, then you need to write the acknowledgement of also the, who had helped you in writing this paper or in conducting this research. So acknowledgement must paper. And last is the references. List of all scientific papers, books, and websites that you have cited in your research must be there in your paper so that everyone may know okay, what are the sources that you have consulted while framing this research papers. So these are the essential parts of it, scientific research paper, which need not to be ignored and which must be included in each and every paper to get it published in a good quality research journal.
वेरी नाइस मैम। मैम, अगर हम स्कोपस पेपर या यूजीसी केयर पेपर की बात करें, तो आजकल एक बहुत बड़ी समस्या सामने आ रही है कि हमें पता ही नहीं चल पाता है कि ये क्लोन पेपर है या वास्तव में सही पेपर है। कैसे इसको हम आइडेंटिफाई कर पाएंगे?
वो तो देखो, जब आप मेल भेजते हैं उसका आपको रिप्लाई आता है सर। उसका रिप्लाई जो है दैट इज नॉट सेंट बाय अ क्लोन। आपको उसमें वेरिफिकेशन होती है इन अ गिवन ईमेल आईडी जहाँ पे होता है उनका, वहाँ पे ऑथेंटिसिटी जो है दैट कैन बी चेक्ड। और आप जो बिल्कुल ऑथेंटिक साइट्स हैं, फेक साइट्स पे आप मत जाइए। जो ऑथेंटिक साइट्स हैं उस पे आप देखिए कि बहुत सारे जर्नल्स जो हैं जो बहुत रिप्यूटेड हैं, लाइक स्प्रिंगर के जर्नल्स हैं, स्प्रिंगर की बुक्स भी आती हैं, है ना। सो एक्सेस ओनली दो साइट्स विच आर वेल एस्टैब्लिश्ड एंड वेल नोन ऑल्सो, है ना। तो अगर हम उनको भेजते हैं तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि हमारे साथ कोई धोखा होता है। वो धोखा तभी होता है व्हेन वी गेट द शॉर्टकट्स।
मैम, हमारे एक दो साथी हैं जो कह रहे हैं कि उन्होंने साइट से ही नंबर लिया और जिस तरीके से आपने बताया कि वहां से मेल से भी रिप्लाई आया, फोन से भी आया, और इनके कॉस्ट भी ज्यादा होती है जो अच्छे पेपर्स हैं।
if you are talking about the Scopus Index journals ना, तो
जी
उसमें कॉस्ट नहीं है। They don't have any numbers on the screen on the websites. They are just having the journal on the site and there are instructions. Follow those instructions, submit your paper, you will get the reply.
पर मैम, अगर उन पर ही हम डिपेंड बने रहें, अगर किसी से हम फोन करके बात करके भी अगर नहीं करते हैं, क्योंकि जैसे आपने बताया ना कि वो अपने आप से रिप्लाई करेंगे, फिर तो सालों साल इंतजार करना पड़ता है, हमें पता ही नहीं चलता कि पेपर छपेगा भी या नहीं छपेगा। लेकिन अगर हम कांटेक्ट करने का प्रयास करते हैं, उस समय पता नहीं चल पाता कि ये क्लोन पेपर वाला कांटेक्ट कर रहा है या डायरेक्ट वाला कर रहा है। और ऐसे में अगर हम किसी के फोन पर हम रिप्लाई करके या उनका जो भी फीस होती है वो देते हैं, लेकिन बाद में पता चलता है कि नहीं ये तो क्लोन के ऊपर था। तो वो एक बहुत बड़ी समस्या है कि इसको कैसे हम
That is
इससे
right.
दूर
I think one computer student can conduct a research on this cybercrime.
करें। क्योंकि आजकल बहुत कुछ चल रहा है, तो
AI
ये
कर दिया sir. It is
ये
only
जी जी, ये भी एक बहुत बड़ी समस्या है कि हम मेहनत से पेपर लिखते हैं और बाद में पता चला फीस भी चली जाती है और पता चलता है कि वो सही पेपर पर छप भी नहीं पाया है।
So sir, I'll share some good quality journals with you. You may share it with your students in
वेरी
case.
नाइस मैम। हमारे कुछ पार्टिसिपेंट्स ने इस बारे में पूछा भी है कि अगर हम यूजीसी केयर लिस्टेड जर्नल या उनकी लिस्ट में जाए तो उनके लिए काफी हेल्पफुल हो सकती
I'll share with you, sir.
है। ओके मैम, ओके, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
थैंक यू मैम।
और भी किसी पार्टिसिपेंट से कोई भी क्वेश्चन बचा हुआ है तो आप कृपया बात कर सकते हैं। ये बहुत ही अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी है हमारे बीच में कि हम अपने सभी डाउट्स को पूरा कर सकते हैं। देखिए, जब भी हम रिसर्च करते हैं, रिसर्च करने के बाद में फिर हमारा यही एक काम होता है कि अच्छा रिसर्च पेपर लिखा जाए और उसको अच्छी जगह पर छपवाया जाए, तो ही आपके लिए यूजफुल होता, नहीं तो फिर रिसर्च करने का कोई फायदा भी नहीं होता। अगर उसका बेनिफिट आपको कुछ लेना है तो अच्छे रिसर्च को रिसर्च पेपर के रूप में बना करके और अच्छी जगह पर छापना हमारे लिए एक बहुत बड़ी प्राथमिकता हो जाती है। और आज इसी के समाधान के लिए हम सब लोग इकट्ठे हैं और मैम एज ए एक्सपर्ट हमारे बीच में सभी क्वेश्चंस के जवाब दे रही हैं। तो आपके और भी कोई क्वेश्चंस हैं तो कृपया आप पूछें।
मैम
यस मैम।
जी बताइए।
मैम काइंडली अपना कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर शेयर कर दीजिए।
जी श्योर, मैं कर देती हूँ।
अगर किसी का और भी कोई प्रश्न है तो कृपया अपने प्रश्न के बारे में बात कर सकते हैं। मुझे लगता है कि सभी के प्रश्न समाप्त हो गए हैं। ऑनलाइन में ये एक बहुत बड़ी दिक्कत है कि जब भी कुछ बात शेयर
सर
करने की आवश्यकता होती है तो लोग शांत हो जाते हैं, साइलेंट हो जाते हैं।
सर हमको एक क्वेश्चन पूछना है।
मैम जरूर पूछिए, मैं तो जब से कह रहा हूँ कि आप लोग पूछें।
ओके सर, मैम मैम आई ऑडिबल टू यू मैम?
यस मैम, यस।
ओके, ऐसी कौन सी वेबसाइट्स हैं जहाँ पे हम अच्छे रिसर्च पेपर पढ़ सकते हैं?
वो तो आप गूगल स्कॉलर पे चले
गूगल स्कॉलर, गूगल स्कॉलर में सब मिलता है।
गूगल स्कॉलर तो में तो काफी इलैबोरेट होता है, कोई स्पेसिफिक?
वो वहाँ आपको सब्जेक्ट डालना पड़ेगा स्पेसिफिक।
ओके, थैंक यू मैम।
अगर और किसी का कोई क्वेश्चन बचता है तो आप अपने चैट बॉक्स में या फिर हमारे व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में डालेंगे और वो मैं मैम तक भेज सकता हूँ और आपको रिप्लाई मिल जाएगा। और अब मैं
सर, अगर किसी का होगा तो डायरेक्ट भी भेज देंगे, नो प्रॉब्लम, आई विल आंसर।
यस यस यस, तो आपका कोई भी क्वेश्चन होगा वो आपको भेज दिया जाएगा। इसके बाद में मैं चलना चाहूंगा अनुश्री मैम। अनुश्री
Thank
मैम,
you
आर
so
यू
much,
अवेलेबल?
ma'am, for sharing your valuable knowledge with us. Moving forward, it's my pleasure to invite Dr. Priyanka Sirohi, ma'am, Assistant Registrar in Mahavir, provide the closing address and bring this conference to a successful close.
Thank you, Anushri ma'am. Good evening to everyone. I am Priyanka Shri, Assistant Registrar in Research Department. It is my honor to deliver the vote of thanks on the behalf of organizing team of Mahavir University. First and foremost, I extend our deepest gratitude to our esteemed chief guest, Dr. Sharabjit Kaur ma'am, Principal of Guru Ramdas B.Ed College, Jalalabad, Punjab, for your inspiring keynotes on the topic of how to write good scientific research papers. Thanks to the guests for their time and for making this event a success. Thanks to the organizers for their hard work and for making the conference session possible. Thanks to the all participants for taking the time to time join and for helping to make conference a success. Finally, I did like to convey my gratitude to everyone here for taking the time to time join us today and for assisting us in making this conference session a huge success. Thank you, everyone of you. Thanks a lot. Hand over to Anushri ma'am. Anushri ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. I think it's a time to national anthem.
Oh, yes, sir.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thanks a lot. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. And sorry once again, आज इंटरनेट कनेक्टिविटी हमारी तरफ से अच्छी नहीं होने की वजह से बीच में डिस्टरबेंस हुआ और ऐसा संभव है. थैंक यू.
थैंक यू सर. कोई बात नहीं, ये तो बनता है, इसको ही टेक्नोलॉजी बोलते हैं ना. ये टेक्नोलॉजी से हम अच्छे हैं इसलिए तो है. ये डिफरेंट है मानव का और टेक्नोलॉजी का.
जैसे कि पता चला हमारे यहाँ पर वो ऊपर से ही पूरी हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी की ही लाइट में कुछ प्रॉब्लम हुई है नेटवर्क में, जिसकी वजह से ये संभव.
इसलिए सर एआई से हम आगे हैं.
थैंक यू वंस अगेन. और नेक्स्ट क्लास में शायद हम 25 तारीख को दोबारा से यहाँ पर इकट्ठे होंगे. सरबजीत मैम, थैंक यू वेरी मच. आपने दोबारा हमारे बीच में आकर के इतनी अच्छी तरीके से प्रेजेंट किया और हमारी इस समस्या में भी आपने बड़ा धैर्य से कार्य किया. थैंक यू वेरी मच
for the opportunity, sir. Thank you. It was a nice meeting.
थैंक यू मैम. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you, sir.
सर फीडबैक लिंक नहीं शेयर हुआ है, प्लीज कर दीजिए.
क्या बताया मैम?
सर फीडबैक लिंक नहीं आया है.
अच्छा, कोई बात नहीं, आपको व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में भेज देंगे, वहां पर कर लीजिए. और सभी से रिक्वेस्ट है आप केवल फॉर्म भरकर सेंड करें और उसकी स्क्रीनशॉट उस पर ना भेजें, क्योंकि उससे बड़ी दिक्कत होती है सभी.